All right, so flax seeds, huh? They're everywhere these days, right? Like everyone's talking about them for hair health.
Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic.
Totally. And I'll admit, I'm curious. I keep seeing those before and after pictures that make you wonder, can this tiny little seed really be the secret to like amazing hair?
Right, it seems almost too good to be true.
Exactly. So that's why we're doing this deep dive today.
Yeah, we're going to get into all the details.
We've got two really detailed guides, from the research you sent us, and each one has a slightly different take on flax seeds and their potential for hair.
One is really practical, like all about the benefits and how to use them.
Okay.
And then the other one dives into the science.
Nice. So we're getting the whole picture.
Exactly. We'll explore the mechanisms and even potential risks so we can have a balanced view.
Balanced information is key, right? Because let's be real, the internet is full of hype, but we want the facts.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. Why are flax seeds even getting so much attention for hair in the first place?
Yeah, what makes them so special?
Well, it all comes down to the nutrition they pack. It's like they were designed for hair health.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So we're talking omega-3 fatty acids. You've probably heard of those.
Yeah, good for your heart, right?
They are, but they're also amazing for your hair. Specifically, we're talking about the kind called ALA.
Got it.
Then you've got lignans, which are powerful antioxidants.
Antioxidants is the things that fight off damage, right?
Exactly. And flax seeds are loaded with them. And of course, we can't forget about biotin and vitamin E, two nutrients that are pretty much hair care superstars.
Okay, so it's like a multivitamin for your hair. But I'm curious, what do those nutrients actually do? How do they work their magic?
All right, well, let's start with those omega-3s.
Okay.
So not only do they nourish your hair follicles, but they also boost circulation in your scalp.
Oh, that makes sense. Because
Yeah.
good circulation means more nutrients can reach those follicles, right?
Yep, precisely. And that's crucial for healthy hair growth. In fact, some studies have shown that getting enough omega-3s from sources like flax seeds can actually extend your hair's active growth phase by up to 18%.
Wait, 18%? That's
Yeah.
huge.
It is. And that longer growth phase means more time for your hair to grow longer, which explains why people claim their hair grows faster with flax seeds.
Wow, so it's not just a myth.
Not at all. It's
Yeah.
backed by science. And then there are those lignans. Remember I mentioned they're powerful antioxidants.
Yeah, like 15 times more potent than vitamin E or something
You
like
got
that.
it. They're incredibly effective at fighting off damage that can lead to hair loss. So it's not just about growing longer hair, it's about protecting the hair you have.
I like that. Protecting what you've got.
Exactly. Now let's move on to biotin.
All right, so biotin is a B vitamin, right?
It is, and it's essential for healthy hair growth because it's a building block for keratin.
Keratin. Isn't that the protein that gives hair its strength?
That's the one. So biotin basically helps build stronger hair from the inside out, which means less breakage and fewer split ends.
Ah, so that's where those claims come from.
Exactly. And finally, we have vitamin E, another powerful antioxidant known for its ability to repair damage and protect your hair from environmental stressors like pollution and UV rays.
Okay, I'm starting to see why flax seeds are getting so much buzz for hair. It's like a powerhouse of nutrients all working together.
It really is. But here's a question for you. If these nutrients are already in things like salmon or avocados, what makes flax seeds so special?
Good point. So why not just eat more salmon?
Well, it's the combination of all these nutrients in such a concentrated form.
Yeah.
A single serving of flax seeds delivers a serious dose of hair-loving goodness.
So it's like a superfood for your hair.
You could say that. But here's the catch. Whole flax seeds aren't easily absorbed by our bodies.
Oh, so that's where grinding them comes in.
Exactly. Grinding flax seeds unlocks their full potential, allowing your body to actually absorb and utilize all those amazing nutrients.
Well, I could just sprinkle some ground flaxseed on my yogurt or something.
You could, or add it to smoothies, oatmeal baked goods. The possibilities are endless.
Okay, that sounds pretty easy. But what about applying it directly to my hair? I've heard about flaxseed oil and flaxseed gel.
You're right, there are topical applications too.
Cool. So how do those work?
Well, flaxseed oil can be used as a pre-wash treatment or even added to your conditioner for extra shine and protection.
Well, that's a good tip. And what about flaxseed gel?
Flaxseed gel is incredibly versatile. You can use it for styling detangling or as a deep conditioning treatment. Plus, it's naturally hydrating, which is great for all hair types.
Okay, so we've got the dietary approach and the topical approach. It seems like there are a lot of ways to incorporate flax seeds into your hair care routine.
Definitely. But before you go all in, are there any potential downsides you should be aware of?
Good question. Because nothing's perfect, right?
Exactly. And while flax seeds are generally safe, it's wise to be mindful of potential risks. For example, some people can have allergic reactions, so a patch test is always a good idea.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. I have pretty sensitive skin, so I'll definitely do a patch test first. Any other concerns?
Flaxseed gel can be a bit heavy for some hair types, so proper rinsing is crucial. And then there's the hormonal aspect.
Hormonal aspects, what do you mean?
Flax seeds contain phytoestrogens, which can mimic the effects of estrogen in the body.
Oh, interesting. So does that mean they could potentially mess with my hormones?
That's a great question, and it's one of the reasons why personalized approaches are so important. What works wonders for one person might not have the same effect on another.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all solution.
Exactly, and that's something we'll explore further as we continue our deep dive.
All right, I'm ready to dig deeper.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we've got the basics down, the nutrition and how to use flax seeds. But I'm curious about the specifics. Like, is there a right amount to use? Or does more always equal better when it comes to flax seeds and hair?
That's a really good question. And it actually brings up a really important point about finding the sweet spot, when it comes to flaxseed intake. Because studies have shown that while small doses of lignans, those potent antioxidants we talked about, can stimulate hair growth, higher doses might actually have the opposite effect.
Oh, wow. So it's not just about loading up on flax seeds, it's about using them strategically.
Exactly. It's all about finding what works best for your individual needs and body.
That makes sense. So dosage matters, whether we're talking about eating them or applying them topically.
Absolutely. And speaking of individual needs, I noticed something in one of the research papers you shared about gender differences in how people respond to flax seeds for hair growth.
Oh yeah, I remember that. It mentioned something about men potentially experiencing more noticeable hair growth benefits from flax seeds than women.
Right, and researchers think it might have something to do with how flax seeds interact with androgens.
Androgens, those are male hormones, right?
Exactly. And it seems like flax seeds enhance their effects in a way that benefits hair growth in men.
Interesting. So it's not just about the nutrients themselves, but also how they interact with our individual hormonal profiles.
Precisely. It really highlights the importance of a personalized approach.
Totally. So we've got dosage and gender considerations, but I'm also thinking about the bigger picture. We're talking about incorporating flax seeds into our routines, but what about their environmental impact? Is there anything to be mindful of there?
That's a great point, and the research actually touched on that. It turns out conventionally grown flaxseed often relies on pesticides, and studies have found pesticide residues in some commercial flaxseed products.
Oh, wow. That's concerning. So if we're adding flax seeds to our smoothies or using flaxseed oil, opting for organic whenever possible is probably a good idea.
Definitely. Choosing organic helps minimize exposure to pesticides and supports more sustainable farming practices.
And if you're using flaxseed oil, look for cold-pressed varieties. That's a gentler extraction method that preserves the nutrients and avoids harsh chemicals. It's amazing how much there is to consider when making choices about our hair care, right?
It's true. But that's why these deep dives are so valuable. They empower us with knowledge and help us make informed decisions that align with our values and goals.
For sure. And speaking of informed decisions, is there anything else we should keep in mind before experimenting with flax seeds for hair?
Well, it's always wise to consult with a qualified healthcare professional, especially if you have any underlying health conditions or are taking medications. They can help you create a personalized plan that takes all the factors into account.
That's a good reminder. Expert guidance can be invaluable, especially when it comes to something as complex as hair health.
Right, and remember, this deep dive is just a starting point. There's a wealth of information out there, and with a little digging, you can uncover even more about flax seeds and their potential for hair.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's all about empowering ourselves with knowledge and embracing the journey of discovery. But before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, was there anything from the research that stood out to you as particularly surprising or interesting?
One thing that really caught my attention was the concept of microbiome modulation.
Microbiome modulation? That sounds complicated. What is that?
It's actually a pretty simple idea. It's basically the idea that flax seeds can influence the balance of microorganisms living on our scalps.
Oh, right. We hear so much about the gut microbiome, but it makes sense that our scalp has its own unique ecosystem of bacteria and fungi. So how do flax seeds play a role in that?
Well, studies suggest that flax seeds with their antibacterial and antifungal properties can help keep those microbial populations in check.
So it's not just about the nutrients in flax seeds, it's also about their impact on the overall health of our scalp microbiome.
Exactly. A balanced scalp microbiome is crucial for optimal hair health. It's all interconnected.
This is why I love deep dives. You always learn something new and unexpected. I can't wait to hear what else we uncovered in the final part.
Me too. Let's wrap this up.
Wow. Okay, so we've really covered a lot of ground here, haven't we? Like from the nutritional power of flax seeds to the microbiome thing.
It really is remarkable how much research there is on this tiny little seed. And speaking of ongoing research, there was one more intriguing finding from the papers you sent over that I wanted to circle back to.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I'm all ears.
So remember when we were talking about the phytoestrogens in flax seeds and how they could potentially help with menopausal hair loss?
Right, because they mimic estrogen in the body, which can be beneficial for women experiencing hair thinning due to hormonal changes during menopause.
Exactly. But it turns out those same phytoestrogens can have implications for people who aren't menopausal as well.
So you're saying that even if you're not going through menopause, those phytoestrogens could still affect your hormones?
That's right. And it's something to be mindful of whether you're a man or a woman because everyone has a unique hormonal balance.
Okay, so even though flax seeds are a natural ingredient, we need to be aware of how those phytoestrogens might interact with our own individual hormonal balance.
Exactly. It's a good reminder that even natural substances can have potent effects, and a personalized approach is always key.
That's a really good point. Speaking of things to be mindful of, one of the sources you sent mentioned potential interactions between flax seeds and certain medications.
Oh yes, that's important to remember. Because flax seeds have those omega-3s, remember, and those have natural blood thinning properties.
Oh, right. So if you're taking any medications, particularly blood thinners, it's crucial to talk to your doctor before adding flax seeds to your diet or hair care routine.
Exactly. It's always best to err on the side of caution and get personalized advice from your healthcare provider.
Absolutely. And while we're talking about potential downsides, I know we touched on this earlier, but I remember reading that flax seeds can sometimes cause digestive issues.
Yeah.
Especially if you eat a lot of them.
Yeah, that's true. It's because of that mucilage fiber. They have a lot of it. And it's actually really good for our digestion. Helps keep things moving.
Yeah.
But too much at once, especially if your body isn't used to it, can lead to bloating or, loose stools.
Right. So like with any new food, start slowly and let your body adjust. And of course, if you have any concerns, definitely talk to your doctor.
Exactly. And that brings us to an important point. This deep dive is for educational purposes only and should not be taken as medical advice.
Right. We're not doctors. We're just two people having a conversation about some fascinating research.
Precisely. So always consult with a qualified healthcare professional for any health concerns.
Totally. And just like you wouldn't expect one haircut to look good on everyone, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to hair care, right?
You got it. What works for one person might not work for another, and experimenting to find what works best for you is part of the fun.
I love that. It's like we're all hair scientists conducting our own experiment.
Exactly. Embrace that journey of discovery. Be observant of how your hair responds, and don't be afraid to adjust your approach as needed.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty inspired to give flax seeds a try and see what they can do for my hair.
That's great. And remember, start slowly, listen to your body, and enjoy the process.
And to all our listeners out there, we encourage you to do the same. Keep those learning gears turning and stay curious about the world of natural hair care. It's an exciting journey.
It really is. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Until next time.